In this video, I am going to demonstrate some of the functionality of the IR Hedging spreadsheet. I am using the IR Hedging spreadsheet on the web to do this demonstration, and I am assuming you've already loaded the interest rate hedging add-in. So if you've loaded the interest rate hedging add-in, you should have an interest rates button, or ribbon, sorry, which loads these various buttons. Before we go into the functionality through the buttons, I want to give you a quick run through the spreadsheet. Okay, this is our summary sheet. We've got a small balance sheet with different positions and the present value of those positions. We've got a couple of key inputs, the value date, the date for which the yield curve is valid, and a bump size, which is used when generating this risk report. The next sheet is the market data sheet. Again, we've got references for these. These are SOFR rates, 3-month SOFR futures contracts, and one-year swaps going out 10 years. There's a sheet which demonstrates the yield curve construction. It goes through all the calculations necessary for that yield curve construction. This is for display purposes. It's not actually used. Yield curve summary. There is an add-in called IR Hedging.yield curve, which builds the yield curve and shows you the day offsets from that value date on the summary sheet and the rates. This is used when running the spreadsheet. There is a worksheet for 3-month SOFR futures contract positions. There is a worksheet for forward rate agreements. There's a forward rate agreement calculator, so you can see the cash flows, see how they are being valued. This calculator and any given forward rate agreement that you might put into the spreadsheet line up exactly. There is a sheet for booking cash flows, sheet for interest rate swaps, and again, a swap calculator, which shows you all the calculations, shows you the calculations for the DV01 for a swap. And again, if you have a swap booked in the spreadsheet, you can put that swap into the swap calculator and you will match exactly. Let me go back to the summary tab. Most of the time, in fact, pretty much always in the spreadsheet, you are going to spend your time on this summary sheet. The spreadsheet is designed to allow you to book positions, calculate risk, and hedge those risks. So I'm going to do a quick run through the buttons. One of the most important buttons, Clear All, which just removes all positions from the spreadsheet. Going to the end here, there's a yield curve button. There's an import and a download. So download takes whatever data is on the market data sheet and exports it into a file. The import allows us, and it'll take a second to load here, but the import yield curve allows us to load data for a particular date. This data has been saved by me, so there are not very many dates available. And it might think for a little while. Let me pause. Okay, here we are. Okay, so I have data saved for July 17th, 2024, April 16th, 2025, and November 20th, 2023. So I'm going to choose the July 16th. Again, these files you want to put on your OneDrive somewhere easily accessible. Clicked open. It's going to think for a second, and it's loaded the data from that file. So that's our yield curve button. There's a help button, which pulls up a web page full of help. My pop-ups are blocked, so I can't see it. All right. Let's clear all again just to make sure the spreadsheet's empty. There are 4 things we can book into this spreadsheet, FRAs, and when we click one of these 4 buttons, it loads a task pane on the right. So you can see the FRA task pane. These are some defaults. You can set them to whatever you want to be. I'm going to, again, if we look at this, these are the cash flows. The present value of the FRA as currently set up is 0. We are borrowing, let's borrow $10 million. We're borrowing $10 million starting in a year. We're borrowing it for a year. I'm going to borrow that money at 3%. I make quite a bit of money because I should pay 3.71. Instead, I'm paying 3, so I'm making money. And I'm going to click Book the FRA. Spreadsheet thinks for a second, and we can see in the FRA there is a position worth the $66,000. And if we go to the forward rate agreements worksheet, we'll see the position that we've just booked in. Other positions that we can book are cash flows. Simply puts a cash flow into the spreadsheet. SOFR futures allows me to book a 3-month SOFR future, and interest rate swaps allows me to book an interest rate swap. The other important button, so basically we can book various trades. We can run risk. So I'm going to click the run risk. It's going to calculate DV01s, basically takes the position, bumps all the individual rates, and calculates risk. We can see the risks that arise from this forward rate agreement, and we can hedge those risks using 3-month SOFR futures contracts. Again, I can do this pretty much in my head. So the first contract that we need to hedge is the June contract. There are 7 of those. There are 10 of the September, 10 of the December, 10 of the March, 3 of the June. Book my futures trades. Again, that should have no cost. It's thinking for a second. There's no real cost in doing that. I run my risk. I see that my risk is significantly reduced. So that's how this spreadsheet works. It allows me to book trades, see the risks on those trades, and see how to hedge those risks. I hope this was helpful.